Welcome back to the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike. Got Matt up top, Justin on the bottom, and the playoffs are in full swing. It's been great. And but first, before we get into it, I'd like to ask everybody, do us a favor, give us a like if you're watching on YouTube. If you are listening to us on the audio-only version, hit subscribe and give us a review. We would really appreciate it. And find us on social media. We're on Twitter and Facebook. Just look up Chicago Tomahawk. We'll come right up and start the conversation with us. We love talking hockey. We might even have you on because that'd be funny. If you want to come on and talk hockey, or if you want to come on and talk shit, that'd be great. So I'm going to hand it off to Justin. Justin, why don't you run us down each playoff series, starting with the Avalanche and Blues?
All right. Sounds good, Mike. I got my trusty handy-dandy bracket here pulled up on the NHL.com website. That was so nice of them to make this for us. But, yeah, like you said.
I sent in an email.
I know we got some pull now, I like to think. So, yeah, I know I can totally see that happening. All right, so the first bracket they got here is Colorado and St. Louis. I know we talked a little bit about that in the last episode. Colorado had no problem, bulldozed right through St. Louis for the most part. The one thing that I'm still waiting to hear, and the only thing really from this series that I have to say is I saw today that Nazem Kadri has accepted, I believe, an in-person hearing with the NHL Department of Player Safety. So I believe he got an 8-game suspension, but he's trying to get it reduced. So I guess really the only takeaway left from that series is, do you guys think that suspension gets reduced, or where do you think that ends up? Matt, what do you think?
I hope they leave it because he's a goon.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. And for that series, I thought I was off, man. I thought St. Louis was in playoff mode like Nashville, honestly.
Yeah, win now, yeah.
Yeah, but thinking about it, do you think these guys are, still contenders, the Blues? After this series, they just got beat up.
Honestly,
I think Binnington was their best player, and
yeah,
he didn't have any help.
I kind of feel like that Stanley Cup there for them was kind of like lightning in a bottle. Like everything broke their way. They had,
yeah.
They not to take anything away, they did have a good team, but I feel like, 9 times out of 10, are they going to make it all the way to the Cup final and pull that off? I don't think so. They're a playoff team, but I don't think they're a Stanley Cup contender. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Their defense, I think, is in a lot of trouble. I know they let Pietrangelo go, and
yep,
they signed Krug, but they were not the same defense that we've been seeing for the last couple seasons.
Not at all. So I don't know. We'll see what's going on. I'm more excited for Colorado. That team has just got so much offensive firepower. They're so fun to watch, and especially when you got a guy like Mackinnon who takes a team-friendly deal specifically because he wants the team to be good. Like, how often have we actually seen that happen?
Is that a dig at McDavid?
No comments. We'll get to him. Oh, I got plenty for him.
I'm sorry, not McDavid. McGregor.
Yeah. That's. For a second, I didn't know who you were talking about.
Exactly.
McGregor would have won one game at least.
Yeah, he would have.
He would have beat the shit out of somebody to win one game. All right. Well, I guess the series that's still going on right now, you got Vegas and Minnesota. Vegas leads the series 3-2. To be honest, I'm just impressed with Minnesota hanging in there. I really thought Vegas was going to stomp them.
Me too.
I credit to their coach, their new coach this year, rookie coach. Credit to Cam Talbot somehow keeping them in games. And then, you got what's the kid, the Russian kid, drawing a blank. Yes, Kaprizov is kind of finding his way a little bit, but still Vegas. I think Vegas still takes it. I know the game just started.
They can't score though. They're struggling.
They're struggling. It's yeah. I give them credit. I think this is a learning experience. I think it'll build them back up better for next season, especially with, I know we've talked about this before too, with the divisions going back to the old way. But yeah, I could see them, fighting back next season. I think Vegas takes it though. Mike, do you think Vegas takes this one?
I am pulling for Minnesota, even though that I hate both of these teams. Really quickly, I wanted to mention that we mentioned McKinnon's contract.
Yes.
He signed a 7-year, $44 million deal at $6.3 million a year. That's insane.
Yeah.
That is absolutely insane that Nathan MacKinnon signed a contract like that.
His agent was probably begging him, please don't sign this. I can get you double if you wait.
When did he sign that? Do you know what year?
Is it like 2 years ago, maybe? 3
Wow.
tops.
Man, I mean, I'd be like, Tavares is getting that, then I want that if I'm
Yeah.
McKinnon. You know?
I would too.
Yeah.
He's
He's well worth it. He's a bull, man.
Oh yeah, the guy just never stops, and unless you got somebody on him all the time, as soon as he gets open, you're in trouble. So
I'm trying to find it.
$6 million.
It looks like 2016. He signed.
2016.
2016. Okay,
So
so 5 years almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
2016, $6 million was like an average guy.
I don't know.
Like
man.
a Brandon Saad is making almost the same as
Yes.
him.
Yeah, actually, he's making what, 6 even?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Nathan McKinnon was a number 1 draft pick, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was.
I would think that he would get more of the 7 to 8 million range, maybe
At least.
even 8.5.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
in
9,
that time.
10. Yeah.
Well, in 2016, I would say 8.5.
Yeah.
But,
9 was an elite guy that year.
yeah,
9
yeah.
million,
Oh, yeah.
you're elite.
Joe Sakic knows what he's doing, I guess, out in Denver, I guess.
Well,
I don't
he
know.
probably sold him, like,
Yeah.
hey, look, I've got some guys coming in. We're looking to win a cup. We need money for it.
Yeah.
And McKinnon's like, yeah, you know what? I want to win a cup too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Byram and then Makar, right? I mean, these
On
guys
the
are
way,
going
yeah.
to be the freaking Adam
Kale
Foote and Rob
McCarr,
Blake.
man, that guy is a beast.
He is. And, it kind of goes to beg to compare McDavid and McKinnon is that you have Conor McDavid where, obviously his agent or somebody was telling him, you need to take the money while you can, while you have it, while you have an opportunity to make it,
Yeah.
and that's completely understandable, to want to get what you feel that you're worth. And then on the other side, it's, I want my team to win. You want to put the team forward.
Yeah. Want my name on the cup.
Yeah. And that's but you have to ask, what does that matter to some people? Some people don't care. I mean, sure, you get your name on the cup, but that doesn't pay the bills. But then on the other hand, you can have all the money in the world and not have your name on the cup. You can't pay to have that done. No. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. The difference, the tale of two cities here, because they're both.
I didn't realize that he made that
yeah.
much. I thought, or that less, I should say. I mean, it's crazy.
He's a giant in this league, and he's not being paid like it.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
I think next contract, he's like, all right, you got what you wanted out of me now.
Yeah.
I want to pay this.
Yeah.
If he wins, they're going to pay him,
show
or
me
he's
the
going to
money.
go somewhere and get paid.
Yeah.
That's going to be the 22-23 is his final season.
Okay. So they got two
next year?
No, next year. Yeah.
Next October when that season starts.
So it'll be very telling to see if he does another team friendly deal or if he goes for bank next season. That'll tell you all you need to know right there. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't blame him.
I'll be excited to see if it ends up being Colorado Vegas. I think that's going to be a heck of a series to watch. It's a shame you got to lose one of those teams in the second round already. So
right.
But I like Vegas, but they're not scoring like they used to.
Not at the moment. No.
Mark Stone's a great player.
Yeah,
I think he got a couple goals, but their other depth guys, they're not. Oh, what's the guy? Alex Tuck. Alex Tuck. He's a clutch guy too. But what are they still 0-0 in the first?
It's still 0-0 in the second now, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirill Kaprizov's going to be the villain in the next Captain America movie.
If he keeps playing the way he's playing, he will be. That's for sure. All right. After that, we got my boys, the Maple Leafs and the Canadiens. They're up 3-1. I think Jack Campbell, we were talking about it before you started recording. I think Jack Campbell has played himself into a starting job next season. I would say,
yes, sir.
Freddie Anderson, thanks for your time, but don't let the door hit you on the way out. That being said, I would take him in Chicago. I would say, yeah. I mean, he's not. I wouldn't say he's like a Vezina candidate, but he's definitely a decent goalie. Again, you want somebody. When he plays, when he's not hurt and when he plays. But the one thing I want to say about Toronto is I don't know who lit a fire under him, but William Nylander has a goal in every single game this series so far. He is looking like a totally different guy. I mean, he's turned it on the last couple games. So good for him. I know the Habs put in that kid. I'm drawing a blank now on his name. Cole Caulfield. Yeah, thank you. And it was almost like they were expecting a lot out of him, but it's like he's still a kid. You can't pin all your hopes on him. But I mean, Carey Price, the first couple of games, Carey Price was playing awesome, but it just wasn't enough to win. So I kind of feel bad for him too. I don't know what your guys' take on that series is, but it's been interesting to see.
I'll go.
Go ahead.
The problem is the front office in Montreal, and that's what if I was Carey Price, the first thing I would be doing is going straight to the president's office and asking him why Mark Bergevin still has a job, because I believe they mentioned this stat was it yesterday? They said that the Montreal has averaged in their last 7 playoff series or something like that, 1 goal a game or something like that, or just over 1 goal a game.
Yeah, I'd be pissed if I was him. That's for sure.
How do you expect to win when you're not putting, when you're losing games 2-1,
Yeah, I feel like, and Matt, I don't know, maybe you can answer this, but I feel like when I think Montreal, I think Carey Price and I think Shea Weber. I don't think of any offensive players. Do you guys think of any?
Right?
So that right there is your problem, right? I mean, I can't think of anybody that's jumps off the. I remember when they had Max Pacioretty in his prime, that was a big deal, and there's been other guys, but even now, Mike Camilleri. I mean, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that
Philippe Daniel is one of their prime centers there.
And that's
what
saying
that
something
say?
right there. So.
Well, Bergevin had a vision to go small guys. My father-in-law is a huge Habs fan, and he said, "I can't stand this guy." They got Drouin, and then they got Max Domi. These guys aren't even over 6 foot. Yeah. They're not. Then this year he wanted to go bigger. So he trades Domi to Columbus for that Anderson. I think Josh Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't work out. And like you said, there's no Brendan Gallagher maybe. He's not a 30 goal scorer.
No,
he's probably maybe a 25 goal scorer.
I could see him being a decent second line guy on a good team. Yeah.
Yeah, but like Mike said, with Carey Price, they're relying on him like New York did with Lundqvist. And Quick with LA.
Yeah.
Quick, I think the year that they won, the Kings, Quick lost 15 games 1-0. I think
that's insane.
It was something like that.
I remember seeing a statistic like that.
Yeah. That's too much on a
couldn't
goal.
believe it.
No, and Carey Price is probably, I saw something on Twitter, who's going to ask to go leave first, Price or McDavid? And it showed a tweet of McDavid. No, I'm happy with the score. And everyone's like, okay, it's going to be Price. Yeah.
Yeah.
But where are you going to get him? I mean, where are you going to put him? A $10 million goalie? I mean, he's not going to go anywhere good. He's going to go somewhere just as shitty as
Montreal.
Canadians. Yeah.
It reminds me of was it Luongo when he's like, I have a shitty contract. I can't go anywhere because he was making $10 million. And it's well, you're going to go to one or two places and that's it. You got nowhere else to go. So
you signed it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I don't have that killer edge, but if I was getting paid those guys, maybe after a while it would start to bug me if we were losing. But every time I saw my paycheck, I'd be like, I guess I could do this.
It's all right.
Yeah.
When you
Florida,
go home and welcome home, sir.
Yeah,
playing hockey in Florida.
You got the robot butler from Rocky IV answering the door.
Exactly.
For you,
You're like, hey, where's Paulie?
Well, speaking of speaking of our boy Conor McDavid, I almost said Conor McGregor.
Yes.
The sweep of the century. The Jets took it to the Oilers. I'm still shocked. Part of me, I love a good upset, and there's something about seeing the guys on top, fall down a peg, which I don't know what that says about me as a person, but
dick.
I guess we're all shitbags because I love it too.
Yeah, because and then the kicker was they get swept, and they're asking Conor McDavid was this season a failure, and he's like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, well, okay, Connor, you I don't know. I thought that was insane. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, Matt, you think, I mean, his contract is, I mean, he's getting paid. That's great. But this is year what? 4, 5 in the league, and they're
this
no
is
closer.
Second playoff, right? Third, or you consider last year?
If you consider last year,
he
be
lost
third.
to the Hawks last year.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole other debilitating.
Well, they would have gotten wiped by Vegas too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh,
but I mean, the fact that they lost to Chicago in that play-in round, it was like, oh.
Well,
God.
Chicago played pretty well, and
they did.
They actually played above their level.
They did
in the playoff round.
And
they actually they laid the blueprint down. Just stop McGregor and McDavid and Draisaitl, and that's all that you have to worry
That's
about.
all you have to do because there's
That's
no
it.
other secondary scoring besides those two.
Yeah.
It's the same this year.
Yeah.
And Mike Smith,
Same too.
he's
They want to resign him. You hear that?
yeah.
Chris?
I hate to I heard that. It's like, come on, guys. It's like he's what's his name out of Cocoon, Wilford Brimley. He's not getting any younger. He's not finding the fountain of youth. I mean, give me a break. Yeah, he is past
diabetes
that
commercial.
Yeah. But it's like, come on, man. It's like what the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different
Right.
results, right?
Right.
You have not changed your team. I don't know what Kenny Holland's doing. I mean, granted, he's awesome in Detroit. Your goaltending is a joke is maybe a little too far. I don't know, but
If you sign Smith, say, hey man, you're going to be the backup. We want you to be the
you're
backup.
not being the
You were
starter
good.
anymore.
You were decent this year, but you can't. You in the playoffs, you can't get it done.
you're not going to get
Neither
the team.
can the team. Yeah,
And-
they need a second line elite guy. They need defense, and they need a starting goalie. They have a lot of needs.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
And I feel like the book is out now, right? Like if you can contain McDavid and Draisaitl and keep them to like a goal a game, and then you kind of hope your offense. I mean, Winnipeg's not some offensive juggernaut, at least in my book. I don't think they are.
No.
But
no.
They played as a
playoffs are a
they
different
played
game.
as a cohesive unit, though.
Yes.
That's what I noticed.
and it doesn't hurt when you got Connor Hellebuck in the back. I mean, he was
Right.
awesome. So
You know
good
who
for
was
them.
great too? Ehlers.
Yeah,
he
he
did.
was.
Back.
Yeah.
Kyle Connor was good.
Right off the bat, he scored a goal.
Yeah, 2 goals, 2 big goals, and
And he scored the game winner, right?
OT. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you get rid of Line A and then you're making it to the second round now. So I mean that tells you something right there too.
It
that
does.
Maybe he's not as valuable as he thought he was. So,
No,
but
I think that he wanted the offense to run through him in a way. And I think that there's ways to do that, but he just wanted to score goals,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't work that way.
no, there's something to be said for playing a team game. It's
What's the
Matt's never
score?
gonna let's check. Hold on.
4-0 final.
Oh, Tampa won. All right, let's talk about that one since he brought it up. Tampa and Florida. Tampa goes on, wins the series 4-2. I think that was kind of like the inevitability, right? Like it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Coach Q's fault.
what's your guys' take on the goalie stuff?
I
'Cause
agree 100%.
I didn't
Coach-
know what they were doing with the goaltending.
Either did Coach Q.
Yeah.
I think he's a great coach, legend, love the guy. What the hell are you doing? Just Bob, he was bad. So the other kid I thought was good. Drager, whatever.
Yeah, Drager, yeah.
Roll with him. Give him the experience. Now you put in Spencer Knight. He had his first. I think he gave up the first goal.
Yeah, he
the
did.
first
First
shot.
shot, yeah.
That could have been terrible for the kid.
You could blame
but
the defense
he
on that,
bounced
though,
back.
too.
Yeah, but still, it's in your head. Like, oh shit, I gave up my first shot.
Yeah.
Right.
But
right.
he bounced back and got him a win, and they needed it.
A big one.
Going to Tampa, it's probably not an easy place to play.
Sure.
You're in enemy territory, and Tampa wants to close it, and they did 4-0. And
Wow.
you got to blame Coach Q a little bit on that because I think he was juggling around when he shouldn't have been juggling around.
Yeah, I think Q sometimes gets a little
Yeah, we said this
trigger
before.
happy, right?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't let things play out. I mean, obviously there's a fine line between letting something play out and then waiting too long and then everything kind of implodes around you. But yeah, I don't know what they were doing.
Even Bobrovsky, do you think that he was the reason they lost those games? I honestly don't see it.
No, I don't think so.
I think
And-
Tampa
and
just outscored them.
they outscored
you know what
them,
I mean?
and then after game 3, the Panthers. I don't know what type of game they were playing. They were for that one game. They were more worried about beating the hell out of everybody. And
Yeah.
it's like,
And they ended up winning that game, I think,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
The Lightning scored 5 goals in the one period, I want to say.
yeah.
And then it hit Kucherov and hit Sergachev and just keep nailing these guys. And they ended up winning
Slashing.
that game. I think
Yeah.
the Lightning were scared. They were like, fuck this. I don't want to
Yeah, I'm not. I don't
get
need.
injured for this. Yeah.
I don't need this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think so. That would be. Let me look at my bracket here. That would put Tampa will play the winner of Carolina and Nashville. What do you guys think is going to happen in that series? I'm shocked that Nashville's still hanging around, but I think Matt, I think it was you that said a couple of weeks ago. You're like they've been playing in playoff mode for the last like 2 months now, so they're just nothing's changed.
Well, Saros has been. He's
Saros
just
has
an
been.
animal.
I think he had
Yeah.
58 saves the other night, something like that.
Yeah,
so
he's an animal.
that guy, it's been awesome. Like, and I know I've said this, but as much as I hate the Predators, it's been kind of cool just to see, Rene starts to get a little bit older, kind of take a back seat, and then like they don't even skip a beat. It's just like, here's our next guy. Good luck.
That team is so lucky with goaltending. Every year they find a way to have a good goalie. And teams like, look at Edmonton. They've been trying for years. They can't find one. Philadelphia. Carter Hart's the man. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
That's scouting.
Yeah. I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. I think personally that I want Carolina to move on to face Toronto. I mean Tampa. But I think that Nashville might personally be trying to fuck me over and try and make it to the next round.
They heard you talking shit about them, Mike. They want to.
Yeah, they did.
It's despite you. 3-2,
and they're going back to Nashville, so it could go 7, boys. I think
it could.
Yeah, it could. I think that it could. Yeah.
After that,
I guess it doesn't get any worse.
I'm sorry, not last series, but we know Boston beat the Capitals 4-1.
Yes, and I hate Boston.
I think that series is just that trade for Taylor Hall just is
paid off.
It's paying off dividends, right? Like,
there
you got Pasternak, you got Hall, you got Bergeron, even though he's getting older, you got Marchand. Like, they just keep coming at you. And then you got, Marchand running around getting in people's heads. As much as I can't stand the guy, I mean, that it works, especially in the playoffs.
Take him in a heartbeat, though.
Especially for being a skilled guy too.
Yeah,
because he's not just a pest anymore.
He's a legitimate superstar. Yeah,
he's a legitimate superstar in the league.
Yeah,
but he also can play that pest role too.
Yes, yeah. I think Boston could cause some trouble for people down the road. I could see them getting far in the playoffs.
Tuukka Rask too. He's quietly been good.
Yeah.
People kind of been writing him off, and he's just playing his game. He's like, I'm not done yet, boys.
It'll be very interesting to see if Taylor Hall sticks around, if they somehow
I think he will.
If they find money to keep Tuukka, or if they say, all right, thanks again for your time, man. See ya.
Yeah, they've been
what
lacking
if they say, hey,
secondary.
what can we do to work this out so we can both come back?
Yeah, they'd have to get creative, I would imagine, right?
I don't think they could, dude.
You don't think so?
No, I don't. I think they're up against the cap too.
Unless somebody takes a Mackinnon deal to come full circle there.
At their age, I doubt it.
Yeah.
No, I don't think. Yeah, they're both past that. So I don't know. That Boston will then be playing the Islanders, who knocked out the Penguins last.
It's gonna be a
was that last
series.
night or was that
Today.
tonight? Was that tonight? I can't
Today.
remember.
Yeah,
2 hours
won
ago.
Today.
2 hours ago.
Won today.
I'm psyched for the Islanders. I mean, I feel like they're a team. They don't get a ton of press just being, next to the Rangers.
Man,
but,
we were wrong on that one, bro.
Yeah. Good for them. I mean, I think it's awesome. I know we've talked about, I love Barry Trotz. I think, we talked about the Jets playing a team game. The Islanders just play a team game too. You got Barzal and Sorokin, the goalie. I think he's kind of supplanted himself as the go-to. I'm hoping they'll, Varlamov will kind of take a back seat for a little while at least, but we'll see.
I think this could be a boring series, but good.
I think it will,
boring series, like low scoring, defensive first, and mistakes capitalized.
I don't plan on watching a wink of that one.
Yeah.
Mike wants goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want goals.
Turn on McDavid. Oh, no, never mind. Don't.
Yeah. That's definitely the Islanders' way, right? Like this, at least with Barry Trotz, is just defense, clog the middle, shut everything down, and then
New Jersey's not in. Let's play. Let's take their place. Is the most boring team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think about Pittsburgh? I think their window, they're done.
Yeah.
I think their core is so old now and beat up, a lot of miles, and their youngsters are just not.
They're not progressing
up.
like they think. Yeah, I mean, Malkin and Crosby aren't getting any younger. I mean, Letang's got a lot of. He reminds me of Keith. He's got a lot of miles on him. The wheels are going to fall off quick.
He had some significant health issues a couple years ago.
Yes, he
as
did.
Well.
He had was it blood clots? I think, right?
Yeah.
Does that sound right? Yeah. That's not something you want to mess around with. So
their goaltending was bad.
Yeah, Tristan Jarry had a rough go. So I don't know. I don't know what Pittsburgh does. I mean, I think their management is going to do whatever they can to keep him in it, keep him going. I just don't know if in the long run that's the best plan of action. If you got to start thinking for life after Crosby and Malkin. But
I could see them rebuilding, saying it next year, saying we're going to rebuild.
It's time.
Brian Burke and Hextall are in charge now.
Yeah.
Yes, I kind of see him kind of putting a team together the way they want it.
Crosby's still a top player in the league, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd keep him. Keep him with the youngsters. Learn how to be a pro.
Be a professional.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's something to be said, too, for a guy like that gets to play for one team. I feel like you don't see that enough. I don't know what it is about it that makes that feel so special, but I love it. Yeah.
There might be, I think that like, especially in today's game, it's very rare.
Yeah.
But it seems like guys who are sticking around, they're like they're like a part of the organization in a way.
They're
that they're like kind of an institutional piece of the organization where it wasn't necessarily true before, maybe years ago.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's I'm excited for the second round to start. That's for sure.
You can't name too many guys that have done that. I mean, you got
not anymore. No.
And I guess you could say Seabrook.
Yeah,
I think Bowman would have traded him in a minute
if he could have.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's all I got for the playoffs, boys. Good luck to the teams that are still in it, teams that are still fighting. Go Leafs, and we'll see what happens. It should be exciting the rest of the way.
What do you got, Matt?
Well, we heard today that Gretzky stepped down in the front office of Edmonton.
Vice chairman, no more.
And he is, they pretty much, we knew what was going to happen. He's going to Turner.
TNT, right? Yeah.
TNT.
To be on the panel with, I think, Olchek and Kenny Albert. Well, they're the play-by-play guys, but I think it's really cool that they got Gretzky.
Oh,
I mean, everybody, even if you're not a hockey fan,
you know the name.
Gretzky's on the panel like Charles Barkley and Shaq.
That's immediate
that's essentially his role.
Do you know what you got to do now? You got to get Brett Hall because he's got a great personality too.
Yeah.
And I think those two would be awesome together.
Like he's friends with Roenick as well.
I don't think they're going to hire Roenick because he's outspoken and people don't like that anymore.
I mentioned on Instagram post today, this guy said, if Gretzky and Conor McDavid played in the same era, McDavid is still a better player.
Okay.
And absolutely, I was like, Wayne Gretzky's the most skilled player ever, and I put period. And then I put another period. Like I put period, then I put period.
Yeah.
Because there is no argument here. Yes, he's very fast, but that doesn't mean that he's as good as
what did it
Wayne
get
Gretzky
him this
was.
playoff series?
Nothing.
Nothing.
This kid mentioned
different game.
If Conor McDavid didn't score any goals this year, he would still be 2 in points in the entire league. And I said, if Wayne Gretzky didn't score any goals, he'd still be number 1.
Yeah,
in points.
And that was his
by a
career goal
landslide.
total. His career goal total.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah, there was a few years he had. There was
a
few years he had like 170 assists or something like that.
Yeah.
That's
he had
nuts.
200 points, 200 something points.
I think it was like 212 points.
There's no comparison. I mean,
there isn't.
And like Matt said too, different eras too. You can't, even if you wanted to try and compare it, you can't. It's a totally different game. But to say that Gretzky's Gretzky. You're not.
And think of this. Yeah. In Gretzky's day, guys after the game they drank beers.
Yeah.
They didn't really work out. And could you imagine if he had a nutritionist?
Yeah.
And how much did Gretzky weigh? 165 pounds.
Let me
and think about too, like that was like the peak of like the clutching and grabbing and holding wasn't called. I mean, it was a slower game. They had the no 2-line pass. I mean, it was a different game.
It was tight. You had to earn it, and he earned it.
Yeah.
With Gretzky's vision, could you imagine him without a 2-line pass?
Oh.
He'd probably have double the goals.
Every single breakout pass, he'd be gone. You'd never catch him. So,
with McDavid, when like a youngster is going to say, "Oh, he's better," okay, and if he went in Gretzky's era and he's skating cross ice, full speed,
boom.
What happens when Scott Stevens is right there?
Boom.
Yeah, he's dead. He's literally dead. He'll never play a game.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. He'd get murdered.
And there was a lot of Scott Stevens that just weren't as popular. That hammering.
Right.
And they'll just hit you just to do it.
Tell them to look at what happened to Paul Kariya.
I
mean, that's a perfect example.
That breaks my heart, man.
Yeah,
what
I
happened
love
to
that guy growing up.
I like Paul Kariya too, but I mean
185.
That was a late hit, but was okay back then.
It wasn't frowned upon.
He was in stride, and today that would have been like a 50-game suspension. You know?
Oh, that would have been a doozy.
You know what? That would probably be more, man, because he was known for doing those types of hits.
Unless unless you're Tom Wilson, then it would have been just a fine.
Yeah.
Well, Korea
Or maybe he
wouldn't
played
been
the
able
next
to come
game.
back either. Korea, they would have left him off, and he would have been shut down for 2 weeks,
Yeah,
no matter
exactly.
what.
Oh,
And he ended up coming back and scoring that huge goal.
He did, but
was awesome.
they probably would have done a CAT scan on him and told him like, "Hey, you're done
You're done, dude.
for
Well,
for
he
the
said that
foreseeable
hit.
future."
There was a documentary with him. He's a big surfer now, Paul
Yeah.
Korea.
Yeah.
He's trying to work his head issues out and stuff, and he said surfing saved his life.
Wow.
It was on TSN. It was really good, really good.
Nice. I've heard that's really good.
Hasn't he had issues with the league over concussions?
I think he's had some lawsuit stuff, right?
Right.
Maybe? I don't know for sure, but
He got a concussion with the Blues, I want to say, too,
yes,
right?
he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that was kind of near the end, right?
And
When
he was
like,
done.
all right.
He was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
At
he's.
a certain-
I think he's on bad terms with Anaheim, isn't he?
Oh, is he that? I did not know.
I
I'd
didn't
have
know
to
that
look
either.
that up.
I mean, when I think of the Ducks, the Mighty Ducks, though, I think
of
of Paul
him and-
Korea.
I
Yeah.
think of him
Coach
and Timo.
Bombay. Coach Bombay.
Coach Bombay,
Yeah.
the mighty Duckman himself.
Yeah.
I thought him and Timo Solani were such a great
Tamu,
pair.
too.
Tamu,
But
yeah.
for some reason, I think of Korea. I don't know
think
why.
of and I think of this is a
goalie?
deep no, this is a deep
Gabe
cut.
Bear?
I think of Sandis Ozelinch.
Okay.
Even though he was more of a
Yeah.
shark, he was a shark too. But I
Yeah,
always
he
for some
was.
reason I think of him too. But yeah,
Yeah,
and
he's
Guy
a-
Bear.
Shagir,
Yeah,
the
Shagir,
other
yeah.
goalie. Yeah. And
There was a
Niedermeyer,
Russian
I know
kid,
he
too.
wasn't like a Duck for a long time, but he,
No,
he
but
brought
still,
him a
yeah.
cup that year.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Scott Niedermeyer, great defenseman.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure.
Wow, man, Scott Niedermeyer was a great defenseman. He was such a great skater, man.
He had a really gray beard
Yeah, yeah.
that year. It was so gray, but he won, man. He was effective. He was on the ice with Pronger like every shift.
Yes, he was.
He-
Yes,
actually, dude, if you want to make a parallel comparison, that was Duncan Keith and Brent Seabrook.
Could
Yeah.
be, yeah.
it really
Yeah.
was. Yeah, you're right.
Except they're not dicks like Pronger was.
No,
Yeah,
no,
that's
not
a
at
whole
all.
other
That
thing.
Philly series, man. I'm so
Man.
glad Bufflin would just go out of his way.
Yeah,
and
he
just
ruined
rock
him, yeah.
I was like, good, put him freaking.
Yeah.
Man, Niedermeyer was
Stand
fast.
Yes,
He was good. Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Well, cool. Well, guys, we'll watch the playoffs move on. It's great to go down memory lane. I'm really curious to see what goes on in this Vegas game. I think that I think Fleury's good, man. I think that Lehner is just biting at the heels, though.
He's just waiting. Yeah.
Just waiting to
Oh.
come in. You know, to be
Boys.
honest with you, I think it's the gorilla in the locker room in the corner.
It could
You
be.
know?
You know what? You brought me to something I wanted to talk about with this goaltending thing going on. So I was gonna say, like, okay, we got Fleury in Vegas and Leonard backing up. What is
Okay.
that? $11 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Close in goaltending.
Yeah.
Now we got Florida, 3 goalies. Bob is making 10. Then you got the other kid. I don't know what he's making, but you
Minimum.
got Spencer Knight coming up. Then you got the Islanders.
Sorokin and Varlamov.
Sorokin and Varlamov. And then Anderson and Campbell, your
Campbell.
team. You got all these goalies. What's going to happen to all these guys? Like, is Edmonton going to grab a goalie? Are we going to grab a goalie? Like,
Seattle
they
will get
can't
one of
keep
them.
these guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question, Matt.
I
See who
yeah.
gets
it's a thinker.
protected.
It's a thing. I mean, like Varlamov, he's a great goalie.
Yeah.
What do you do with him? You need the money to sign these young guys. Like Barzal's going to be wanting a contract soon, right? I think
Who
he
knows
only
what
signed
he's
a
gonna
one-year
want.
deal.
Yeah.
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 And then you got Bob making 10. Florida's pretty close. They might need a couple pieces here to get over the hump, but
Right.
you can't keep guys like that. You're going to sit. Coach Q kind of, made it
Yeah.
difficult on the
10
GM
million on
now.
the
Like, what am I
bench.
going to do? Yeah,
Yeah,
what am
you
I going
kinda
to do?
You
damage
could have
the
put that
relation
money
a little bit, yeah.
into another player or two.
Yeah.
You know,
And I think that they need it to just get over
Well-
that hump. But you got to trust that Spencer Knight might be the man or Drager is going to be the man. But if I'm getting rid of a goalie or not protecting a goalie, I'm going to keep Bob on that list and
Yeah,
pray
I'm
they
thinking.
take him.
I mean, these
Yeah.
playoff games for some of these young goalies, they're. I don't want to call them tryouts, but that's what they are, right? Like if I'm Lou Lamoriello for the Islanders right now, I'm looking at that series and I'm like, all right, Sorokin outplayed Varlamov
against a good team.
Against a good team.
Yeah.
He's younger. He's cheaper. All right. I'm going to do what I can. Thanks, Varley, but we got some big contracts that we got to sign. You got us where we needed to go. We're going to let this kid take the reins from now on, and good luck. I don't know how you do that because but yeah, I think that's a great point, Matt.
Where do you go? Where do you send these guys?
I don't know. I mean, I would say
they might have to eat contracts and just, continue to
defer salary and all that stuff. Yeah.
There's needs all over the league for goalies.
I think the only need is Buffalo, and why would you want to go there? If you had a choice, you're not going to go there. I mean,
that's just going to tank your entire career. I mean, for foreseeable future,
it's been
right?
Proven.
Yeah.
If you're Kenny Holland, what goalie out of all those teams that I said, would you go for Anderson?
Well,
would you go for Bob? Would you go?
I mean, their problem is how up against the cap are they? I mean, Draisaitl and McDavid make up half their, almost close to a quarter of their cap, right?
They have space, but they do have to resign a couple of young guys.
Okay.
But
Draisaitl
he said he wants to
a
sign Mike Smith.
Cap hit.
That's just stupid. I mean, the problem is if you take on somebody like Varlamov or Bobrovsky, at least I would argue they're better. They're both better than Mike Smith. I would take them over Mike Smith regardless.
Yeah.
But then you're getting into another problem where it's like, okay, we're taking on this goalie. That's great. He's good. But now you just ate up a chunk of your salary cap, which, if anything, this playoff series has shown they need more. They need help on defense. They need help with their scoring, because if the two main guys get shut down, you have no scoring. Who are you going to find for cheap now to fill out your roster that's not minor leaguers and
I
third
think
and fourth line guys?
Drager would be like the cheapest Band-Aid to fix your goaltending and for a while until he wants to get paid.
But see, I would even be afraid if I'm what's the Oilers, what's that guy's name? Is it Katz? Is that the Oilers owner?
He's a weird guy, right?
So, okay, if I'm him, they tried that, though, a couple of years ago, right? Remember when they went and they grabbed Talbot from the Rangers? They're like, this guy's cheap, he's good, this is going to be our guy, and look how that turned out. So, it didn't work. Not to say that, Drager or whoever else is young, if they take a gamble on somebody, that wouldn't work again. But if I'm the owner, I might be thinking okay, I want somebody that's proven, but then you run into the problem. Then you got to pay him, So it's, man, I would not want to be an Oilers fan.
Would be their best bet.
Yeah.
With a little, I think he's making $5 million, $6 million.
That's not bad.
No, but Anderson, he's a free agent, right?
Yeah.
After this season. So, I mean, you could make him an offer, but I don't even know. What if the Hawks make an offer for him? Because they don't have to give up anybody.
Varlamov's got a 4-year, $5 million per year contract. So he
had 12 shutouts this year, right?
What's that? Yeah, I believe. Let's see.
How many years in?
I'm trying to find
4. I think he said 4.
He's got 4 years at $5 million apiece. I'm trying to find when the contract ends, though. That's the thing.
Right.
No, that's not it. That's not it. Hold on, we're getting closer.
Malcolm Subban for Varlamov right now.
All right. It looks like he signed his contract with the. He signed that contract with the Islanders in the 2019-2020 season. So was that last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 years left at $5 million apiece.
That's
not bad. That's not a bad deal.
Yeah. If I'm Ken Holland,
we're still talking it from the perspective of Ken Holland, right?
Yeah, I would.
To be honest with you, that's a no-brainer. To be honest with you,
because how much are they paying Mike Smith?
Probably $3
million.
If it is $5,
okay. Mike Smith is at $1.5 million,
okay.
so that's a little
for
bit
a backup.
less,
that's good.
That's probably why he wants to sign him, because he's cheap.
Yeah,
he's
most likely
cheap, and he wants to just make it to the playoffs and then get destroyed.
It's just, man, you are wasting two, generational talents.
We're
in
at the
their prime
beginning
years.
of their prime years.
And I mean, McDavid can say all the right things. He's probably been coached to by his publicist, I would imagine. But man,
clear.
Deep down, if you're that young and you're that good, you can't tell me he doesn't want to go somewhere else, even if he's saying he doesn't. But his contract, no one's gonna. I mean, how much would you have to move? How many pieces would you have to move to make that contract work for any team in the NHL?
Probably 5 first-round picks.
If you're the Kraken,
literally,
yeah.
The Kraken could do it.
Top player.
And they're a team that, I mean, if they run their draft right like Vegas did, they could come out being a playoff team in their inaugural season again too. So
their draft, it's going to be huge. I wonder who the Marshall of the draft is going to be.
There'll be somebody. It's just a matter of who it's going to be. Yeah.
Yeah, they have to submit the list sooner or later, and we're going to find out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of who's been made available.
Yeah, who's safe and who's
not.
not.
What day is the entry draft, or I'm sorry, the expansion draft?
It's before the draft, right, Just?
I believe it is. Let's see. It is
Usually it's
July
like a June
21st.
or July.
Wow. So
July
yeah,
21st.
we're a bit off.
When's free agency? I know it's usually July 1st, but
Yeah, it's usually dry. Let's see, free agency 2021. It doesn't say.
they're probably waiting till the end
it's
of the
earlier
season.
this year. It's July 28th.
Okay.
No, it's later. I'm sorry, later, July 28th. It's
So
usually
it's
July 1st.
probably after the expansion draft,
It's
right?
after the
Where
expansion draft. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then the normal draft is
Let's see.
before free agency as well.
TJ Oshie wants to stay in
Yeah.
DC.
He does
So
not
yeah,
want to go
you got
there, he
you
said.
got the expansion draft is in, what did I say, June? Is that what I said? I can't remember now.
You said July.
July.
Okay,
July
so
21st.
July 21st is the expansion draft. The entry draft is July 23rd, and then free agency starts July 28th.
Wow.
So that's
it's gonna be a busy
that's
week.
going to be.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to get a show
We're gonna
that
be busy.
week because that there's going to be
Yeah.
a lot of movement there for sure.
We could do one show about just the Kraken.
Every draft, yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, we might have to do 3
Yeah.
because there's
times.
going to be a lot of moves being made, man.
Oh yeah.
I have a feeling
yeah.
there's going to be a ton of movement this year.
Yeah.
So much movement where you're like, what's the team makeup? You know?
Yeah. It's going to change quick. Yeah.
Well, you got to protect one goalie, right?
I believe
Believe
so.
so.
On your team?
Seven forwards, 3 defensemen, and 1 goalie.
So the Leafs are lucky because they could protect Campbell and not worry about Anderson because he's a free agent.
yeah.
And
Right.
That's
they're lucky
probably
with
the way
that.
they're going. Yeah.
Florida is not so lucky.
No.
Like
No.
they shouldn't have rushed Spencer Knight because he might be, not safe anymore.
Yeah.
'cause
If he meets the
played a
criteria.
game.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure
I
about
think
that.
I think that they have to play at a minimum 10 games.
Well,
Or 9
I wouldn't save Bobrovsky because I would say take his $10 million, see
Yeah.
where it gets you, and they might even they could save Drager and not save Bobrovsky and take a gamble on it. I mean,
Yeah.
you're freeing up $10 million. That's a bonus.
Yeah.
And you got Spencer Knight coming up, so it's going to be tough for these GMs.
Yeah. They're going to have a lot of work to
going
do.
on.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of
I
work
just
to
can't
do.
believe how many goalies are like we didn't think too many goalies were available, but now it seems like there's going to be a lot.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Hope Stan's paying attention.
Yeah, we need one. We need another one. I
Or
think
two.
we'll call it a 1B and a 1A. That's what
Yeah.
we need.
Yeah.
We don't need a number 2.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Mackinnon. I think
Me too.
there's potential there. But
Yeah.
if tomorrow I woke up and they said, oh, they're shipping him for somebody that could benefit the team, but they have someone else ready to go that's not Subban or Colin Delia, I wouldn't lose sleep over it. I mean, I like him. I think he's got
Yeah.
potential, but I'm not gonna. I wouldn't. If they end up moving him for something else, I'm not gonna be upset about it. So.
Even Tuukka Rask. I mean,
Yeah.
Ranta. There's going to be a lot of goalies available. I think.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
not
think you're right.
with contracts with years term, which is
Yeah.
something we should invest in if we have the space too.
For sure. Yeah. Especially now. Yeah.
Jump on Varley if
So how do
he's
they-
available.
So how do they move forward with Lankinen then?
Give him a bridge deal, prove it.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is he a free agent or does he
No.
have a year? No,
I think he's
so
got 1 year.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Is
sign
it
a
1
guy
year?
and give him a chance. It's his net to lose, and
Okay.
he could lose it.
He signed a 2-year deal that runs through the 21-22 season at $800,000.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
So.
not nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, next year,
Spend some money.
whether he's the starter or if they bring in some other guy to kind of groom him or mentor him a little bit, you're not losing a ton of money there. So yeah, I think that could be doable.
Or just be a backup or
Yeah.
get in and get hot. You'll play like the Islanders goalie.
Yeah,
What's his
Sorokin.
name?
Yeah,
Sorokin.
Sorokin. Yeah,
Yeah.
Prove it.
yeah, yeah. Prove that this wasn't just a 1-year thing.
Yeah,
With the goofy
hopefully we
schedule.
get a better defense for the kid,
Yeah, that would help.
so he's
a long
not
way.
taking 70 shots against our 12.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would help
Yeah.
too.
we might need a new
I'd rather
coach
have
for
a
that
solid-
though.
Yeah, we're not
A
gonna
new
get it.
system.
We're
New
not going to
system.
get that.
And you know what? At this point, I'd take any system. But
Yeah, what are
Even
we
the
gonna
one
do?
that we got away from.
Just
Yeah.
a dump and chase.
yeah, my
Anything.
My brother-in-law was talking about him. He's like, I don't know a lot about hockey, but I know that Justin doesn't like Jeremy Colleton, and if he doesn't like him, he's got to go. I'm like, okay, that works for me. So
he just stands there.
Yeah.
You know, he don't even yell at anybody. Like, get mad. Like,
you got to get angry.
Just yell at freaking Conor Murphy. Dude, strap your helmet tighter.
Yeah,
God
man.
damn it. I'm sick of watching you.
You would see me going berserk on the bench.
Yeah.
That killed him twice.
It did.
His helmet.
They
killed him.
They scored on two of those incidents. Actually, it happened 3 games in a row.
He's got a really skinny head.
I would have
put
been
a beanie
furious,
on,
man.
and then put a helmet over it and give it some tightness.
Get the Allen wrench key out, crank that sucker tighter, and call it a day.
I was furious.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys. That's all that we got for you tonight. It's been a blast. We are going to be releasing another one next Monday with the updates on the finality of this round. It should be done by then, right, guys?
Just waiting on Vegas now, right?
Vegas and Toronto. Well, yeah, Toronto. They close it out tomorrow. Yeah, and Nashville and Carolina too.
Unless the Canadians find some offense that they haven't had for the past 8 years.
Bite your tongue, Mike. Bite your tongue.
0-0 going into the third, boys.
That is the Maple Leafs curse.
Okay,
you know, we'll see.
To be honest with you, with how much talent they have on that team, I mean, I think that they can come out on top.
if they blow it, you're going to see a lot of expletives in our text chain. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, I understand.
Be ready.
I understand where the hate.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's all that we got for you tonight. This is the Tomahawk, and we're out.